Now, our top story today, the Home Secretary is set to introduce some of its toughest measures yet on illegal migration, with countries that refuse to take back failed asylum seekers or foreign criminals to face a total visa ban.
That's right. Shabana Mahmood will name Angola, Namibia and the Democratic Republic of Congo as the first nations facing these travel blocks.
Well,
This important interruption is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Protect your money and your identity. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code here to get ExpressVPN right now and save up to 73% on annual plans today. Right, let's get back into it.
the Home Secretary will set out the new plans in Parliament in what the government says are the most sweeping reforms to tackle illegal migration in modern times.
Former political advisor Oscar Redrup joins us now. Oscar, is Labour finally getting tough on illegal migration?
I think the Home Secretary is making the right noises here, and the timing of it is almost fascinating, because I would say that the Labour government are completely dysfunctional at the moment, number 10, number 11, and if the Home Office can sweep in today and actually show some proactivity and some actual imagination on one of the biggest issues for voters, then weeks previously I would have said that Keir Starmer would be overjoyed, but actually with the way things are at the moment, I think it's almost a reflection on his time in Yvette Cooper's. I mean, what have they been doing? I think the Telegraph did a really good editorial today where they kind of said, Mahmood's already showing that she'd be a better Prime Minister than Keir Starmer. And we forget Wes Streeting was obviously referenced last week, but so was she. So I think politically it's very interesting. On the measures themselves, in terms of they're looking at restricting elements of the ECHR as well, Article 8. Which is your immediate family and how that's defined. I think that's pretty solid stuff. It does all feel slightly tinkery, and I would include that in terms of the returns. I mean, we still have lots of agreements that we haven't been able to sign yet, and the one with France just simply isn't working. And I think all voters can see that. I then also think, and I'm not trying to be too negative on it, but this is a political reality. I think there's going to be, and you've got the Guardian front page in front of you there, Chris. There's going to be, it's going to be tough for her to sell this to a lot of Labour MPs.
I mean, having said that, it's been written up well across all the papers, left and right-leaning. I mean, people are applauding the fact that it sounds to be tough. But is it anything more than just hot air? Because I can think of three things that stand in her way: the ECHR, human rights law, and Labour backbenchers. I mean, would she be able to even get this through? Yeah,
absolutely right. Those are challenges that do, when this kind of flies in the face of reality and collides with reality, it's still going to take probably years for any of this stuff to kick in. And when you go, OK, Home Secretary, you've rightly, finally, identified the limitations and the problems we have with our legal system in the ECHR in this country. Why not just go the whole hog?
Oscar, you mentioned there the issue of Shabana Mahmood. Now, of course, I'll view all this through a kind of could she replace Keir Starmer lens. I think she's got away with something here because, of course, she was Justice Secretary from the election to September this year when all those early release, there's mistaken releases were happening. I mean, she kind of...
That Lammy is coming.
Lammy is, I mean, but yes, she's talking a big game, but she's going to battle against her own MPs in Parliament later today, and many won't like what she's up to. I mean, I think she needs to be tough, though, and also we're only dealing with illegal migration. The big number is legal migration, and that's going to be huge this year as well.
Absolutely, and you can already see how she's rolling the pitch in terms of the problems that she knows she's going to come into with her own MPs. In terms of, but we're going to look at legal routes into this country and making them easier and fairer and more widely available. And there are just as many problems with legal immigration to this country as illegal. And so I think, in terms of the forewarning that she also gave, which I thought was fascinating, is like, guys, you might not like my tough talk on this, but what's to come if this doesn't succeed, aka Reform, Conservative, whatever, will be much darker. And I'm not sure that the voters' priorities, which is sorting out illegal immigration immediately, would take particularly kindly to be described as dark. as a dark want from a voter base. But that's how you can already see she's nervous about selling it to the Labour backbench MPs.
Well,
but look, you have to. There is proactivity being shown here, and it does make you think, what the hell have they been playing at for the last year or so? And it does also make you think they're giving up on this smash the gangs nonsense.
Every time you're online, your money and your identity are at risk. Scams now make up nearly 40% of all crime in the UK. That's thousands of attacks every single day. In Britain, someone has their identity stolen every 2 minutes, leaving victims with wrecked finances and years of stress. The threat is real, and you could be next. ExpressVPN is your shield against criminals. It locks down your devices, hiding your personal information and financial details from hackers, scammers, and anyone else looking to exploit you. So whether you're checking your bank, shopping, or just browsing, ExpressVPN makes you invisible to prying eyes trying to steal your money and your identity. ExpressVPN shields your data with military-grade AES 256 encryption. That's the same standard trusted by the US government to guard classified information. This is the highest level of online security you can get. So don't wait for disaster. Secure up to 14 devices at once and get powerful password protection. Real support is available 24/7 because cybercrime never sleeps. Save up to 73% on annual plans today. Every moment you hesitate is another moment you're exposed. Protect your money and protect your identity. Get ExpressVPN right now.
Good morning. Will your plan work? That's all our viewers and listeners. That's all we care about at GB News is, will it work? You're not pulling out the ECHR like the Tories want to and Reform UK. You're tinkering with it. Will this plan work? Yes or no?
Chris, yes, this plan will work. I totally reject the idea that we're tinkering. What the Home Secretary is going to announce behind me in Parliament today is the biggest reform to the asylum rules in modern times. You know, GB News viewers, as you know, as Ellie knows and as I know that people are choosing to come to Britain. Asylum claims are down across Europe, but up in the UK, because we're seen as attractive and because we're seen as a softer touch. Our package today will reduce those incentives to come illegally. It will mean that those people who have no right to be here will be removed more swiftly. And it will, of course, because I know that your viewers have stepped up, whether it's Ukraine, Syria, Afghanistan, Hong Kong, establish those safe routes as well so that people don't make those dangerous and illegal journeys. So it's a big package and we're looking forward to delivering it.
But Mr Norris, you won't get it past your backbenchers, will you? I mean, already we've had Nadia Whittome and Clive Lewis describing these ideas as hardcore, as dangerous and as racist.
Well, I know what they want, and again, I think it's what your viewers want as well. They want an ordered system where people don't come, irregularly, where people don't jump the queue, meaning that those who have legitimate asylum claims aren't able to get them processed swiftly and on with their lives. And I know that they want one that reflects our values of compassion. I want those things too. But I say to my colleagues, and I'll be talking to them, we're listening closely to them, as I will across Parliament and to the British public, that we need a system that is ordered at our borders. We need that control. If we don't, we won't have the confidence of the British public and we will lose permission on the asylum system. So I'd ask them not to defend a status quo that isn't working for anyone.
So Norris, there's been protests over the weekend in Crowborough about your plans to house 600 asylum seekers in Crowborough training camp in East Sussex. The Home Office haven't commented. Now's your chance. Do you understand why they're protesting? They're protesting because no one talks to these people, and then they find these migrants imposing them without any kind of consultation.
Well, that's not quite fair, Christopher. We do engage with the local authorities, with the police, with the fire service, the health services, to make sure that the impact of those facilities treads as lightly as possible on the people who live in those communities permanently. But we need to understand the context here. Right now, there will be migrants getting messages, or potential migrants getting messages from human traffickers saying, come to Britain, you'll be housed in a hotel and you'll be able to work in the illegal economy. I make no apologies for changing those two things, and that means that rather than hotels that are in the middle of communities that are important economic drivers, that instead they're being used for their initial purpose, and we're using more austere settings such as barracks. I think that's the right thing to do. What I would say to viewers is we don't want anybody to be supported in this way. This is a new phenomenon that came about when the previous government stopped assessing claims, so we're churning through that backlog. We're also doing the things we're doing today to reduce the number of people seeking to come to this country illegally, and when we do that, that means we'll get out of hotels and we won't have to have these facilities being used that are in people's communities.
Can I ask you about the former Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner? Reports in the papers today that she's on manoeuvres, as we say in Westminster, preparing to mount a leadership challenge against Sir Keir Starmer. Your party is currently polling at around 18%. So should Sir Keir Starmer stand aside if it turns out that Angela Rayner is more popular?
Keir Starmer's doing a great job. If you just take the last week, the improvements we've made that meant that NHS waiting lists are now falling. The first small modular nuclear reactor, which is going to change energy in this country, and now the reforms we're doing to the asylum system that I know your viewers are so keen on. So no, I know Ange well. She's a very good friend of mine. I used to be one of her junior ministers. I know she supports the government 100%, and she wants to see us succeed, and that's what we're going to do.
And just finally, Alex Norris, we know that the PM, Sir Keir Starmer, will be speaking to Donald Trump today about this threat of legal action of up to £5 billion over the edited panorama. Have they spoken yet? And what does Sir Keir Starmer plan to say to the US President?
Well, when I checked before coming on air this morning, I don't think that conversation has taken place. I don't know if it's scheduled to either. Both the President and the Prime Minister talk frequently about all sorts of issues, be it security, be it the economy, be it all sorts of global issues, because the US is such an important ally of ours. So I can't tell you when or if there's a conversation to take place, but I'm sure it'll be a very good one if it does.
Home Office Minister Alex Norris, thank you very much for your time this morning on Breakfast.